popular initiative. And a popular initiative, what we are discussing is guided under Article 255 and 257. This is a popular initiative. Yes. And a popular initiative is actually, it's not a government project. It is a political decision that the political players have coalesced to come up with a popular initiative in the name of PBI, which resulted in the constitutional amendment that went to the people to collect 1 million signatures. So after attaining that 1 million signatures, it now comes to the assemblies for purposes of approval by at least 24 counties. Then now after that, in fact, Parliament, we don't have a lot of say. They just are bystanders, and then after that it will go to the people for purposes of voting. So it is not a government project. It is a political tool and a popular initiative, and it is being done through Article 255 and 257. Maybe when you get time, you can review.
To the citizens. So when you look at it, it is a good report. PPI is a good report. It's only that we, members of Uasin Gishu, we don't want to be ourselves. We went to public participation. We went to all our stations. Some members were told to say yes, others no. You are elected person. Stand your ground and tell this house that what your members, or what you are told by your members. You cannot come and hide in something called abstain. How do you sit in a meeting to choose the word abstain? Abstain, anybody or one person can stand to abstain after discussion, but not sitting and writing a report of abstain. Honorable members, I am a member of Jubilee Party.
That is out of order, Honorable Amos.
Mr. Speaker, sir, is it in order for the member to mislead this House that people were told to use the kind of words to use either a yes, no, or to abstain? Can she substantiate?
Honorable Leah,
thank you.
Maybe what I need to clarify from the chair is that in any voting process in our democracy, there are always three options. You can either say yes, you can either say no, or you can abstain. So those are within the limits that we have. So you can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I know we have three options, but what I'm saying, what they brought from their ward areas, it's only two. Most of these people, I'm sorry to say that, I'm not talking.
You are out of order, Honorable. Can you?
I withdraw the statement.
Yeah.
Thank you. Honorable members, let us be very honest. Somebody said Uasin Gishu is a cosmopolitan area. That one is very clear. Constitution will not interfere with the people of Uasin Gishu. In 2010, we were also voting no, but we stood and we voted yes. The same constitution is the one that we are using now. So I want to say, honorable members, let us be people who can stand. It doesn't mean when we sit on abstain, we are bringing peace. That one cannot. We can pass this PPI, yes or no, and we have shown our stand. So for me, Honorable Speaker, I say no to this abstaining document. Thank you, okay. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Maybe something we need to clarify, that misnomer, is that in Kenya we have 47 counties, and they are taken, once we make a decision, they are taken as a vote. So far, Uasin Gishu is remaining to take a vote. And in that vote, Uasin Gishu County Assembly will communicate to the Speaker on the decision that this House has made. So if, as per report, maybe it passes and we adopt that Uasin Gishu in general, that is Uasin Gishu County Assembly in general, have abstained. That is a vote, and they will be counting. They will be saying maybe 42 counties said yes, 4 counties said no, and 1 county abstained. Proceed. Honorable Maraswa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, maybe before I comment on the report, Honorable Speaker, maybe I will use also this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to inform the honorable members in the House and also members of public at the gallery and those who are following these proceedings online, which Mr. Speaker, that the display of the ribbons or colors that are in this assembly are the county colors. It doesn't reflect to any other party or anything else. They are just but the county colors. And number 2, Honorable Speaker, I want to inform also maybe those who are following this proceeding also that we are discussing on the report brought by the Committee of Delegated Legislation that this county assembly abstain from voting for BBI, and abstaining means there will be no vote for yes or no to the BBI. That's the meaning of this report. And Mr. Speaker, as I go inside this report, Mr. Speaker, on the PPI itself, Mr. Speaker, it says that the Uasin Gishu County will have 3 more constituencies. And Mr. Speaker, that implicates that those 3 constituencies, if they add, it will bring in maybe more resources. And Mr. Speaker, that is a lie, Mr. Speaker, because if you need to increase resources that are coming to this county, you can do using the existing constituencies, Mr. Speaker. You can increase the money using those existing constituencies. I equate this, Mr. Speaker, with the message or the myth that we are always being told that every child, when he or she is born, comes with his own plate, which is not true, Mr. Speaker. You will have to struggle to feed any other mouth that you increase in your family. Mr. Speaker, number 2, Mr. Speaker, on the word development. Mr. Speaker, the report or the PPI itself tells us that there will be a 5% of development money going toward level. And Mr. Speaker, in our county, we are unique, Honorable Speaker. We have passed in this assembly a bill called Equitable Development Fund Bill of 2019, which actually that's 40% of development money toward level. And Mr. Speaker, if you go to the budget that we passed last year, June, you will find that every ward was allocated at a tune of around 38 million. And Mr. Speaker, if you go to figures, you will find that if PPI goes through, that's 5% will come low. You will find that every ward will get a tune of around 12 million, which actually, if you compare with the existing bills in this county, it will not be good, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker,
what is out of order, Honorable Muya?
Mr. Speaker, I find my honorable colleague and neighbor to be out of order, trying to mislead the people of Uasin Gishu. I want to remind him 5% is not fixed 5%, at least 5%. And I said that whatever we are getting to the people today, being the 40-60 of development money of Uasin Gishu, that was an act of this county assembly. If the BBI passed today, it will be the at the disposal of County Assembly of Uasin Gishu to see what is good for their people. Is it 5% because it's at least, or is it 25%? Why? They have been given the lowest figure to be 5%, not fixed. Therefore, the issue of saying that it's casted on stone, no. We are going to pass a legislation because we were taking a figure of more than 30 million to the people. We can't take 12%, and because the constitution will be clear of at least, it will be upon us to see, is it 10, is it 5, because we have been the same way.
I don't want to raise another order on order. Can you finalize? I'm
finalizing. The same way when we are giving our bursary fund, we talk in an act of bursary, we talk about not less than 5% can be given to a student. Meaning that you can give a student up to a tune of 50,000, but not less than 5%. The same thing to this. 5%, at least 5%. That is the school I went. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think Honorable Muya is talking about one word which is called at least. That is where the difference come in, Honorable Speaker. And if Honorable Muya is telling me, Mr. Speaker, that at least 5%, even at the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, we are being told at least 15%. Have you ever, in this county government, have you ever seen that rule being broken? It is always being, we are always receiving 15%. It has never increased. So if Honorable Muya is telling me that at least, do we respect the word at least? That one, Honorable Speaker, is out of protect me, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a deputy chair of budget, and I'm sure chair might go against me, but I listen to the CS Finance, Akuru Yatani. Whatever they were disbursing was even more than 15%. Okay? In this current financial, the difference has been.
What is the percentage currently?
Gazetted.
What is the percentage currently?
The percent that was disbursed, it was beyond 15%. I heard very well whether he was doing politics.
Maybe you can get the figures, then you substantiate.
Yes,
okay.
I'm going to get the figures, but the issue is.
No, since we are going to get the figures, once you get the figures, we shall give you time. Okay, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, depends on the facts, not hearsay. And what Honorable Muya is talking, Mr. Speaker, I've heard him saying he had. And we cannot go by that, Honorable Speaker, the hearsays in this Honorable House. This is a House of Rules and Regulations, Honorable Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, Honorable Speaker, we went to public participation. This PPI, Honorable Speaker, has good and bad points. And Mr. Speaker, on the expanded executive, Mr. Speaker, the current system of government or the executive, we have the president, the deputy, and the CS, Mr. Speaker, coming down. Is there any cap, Honorable Speaker, that has challenged or made the two principles of PPI to have a look at it that they want to change and give the Prime Minister to come in? Is there any cap as of now? That is what we are asking ourselves, Mr. Speaker. And on that expansion of executive, Mr. Speaker, the members of the public say that that one will, the bill will increase the tax burden to our residents, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, on the 4th of PPI, the people of Simat Kapseret, Honorable Speaker, said no to this PPI. And they also suggested an option of abstaining, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate the committee of Honorable Dotich for coming up with this good report, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, as we debate, Honorable Speaker, I want to
wind up in the next 30 seconds.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this report says that we abstain in voting. And that is good, Honorable Speaker. For PPI to go to the next level, they needed 24 assemblies, Honorable Speaker. And up to date, Honorable Speaker, they have already gotten 40 assemblies. Is there any need of Uasin Gishu giving a vote for it's like killing a dead lion, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, that one, it is good to abstain. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Tenai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to give my input on this report. Honorable Speaker, I've just heard the honorable members debating clearly on this report, especially on the part that there are many pros than cons on this report by the Committee of Delegated Legislation. Honorable Speaker, the cons that this committee gave on the issue to do with the tax, I want to report to this Honorable House, Honorable Speaker, that it is indeed very much taxing. In the Republic of Kenya, we have close to 3 sources of revenue. Number 1 is tax from the people. Number 2 is borrowing the savings of the citizens. Number 3 are through grants. Then the last one is maybe through the foreign debt. Honorable Speaker, the country Kenya is in limbo. Currently, we are at a foreign debt of close to 7 trillion shillings. If each and every single person could defray the cost that Kenya is indebted, then every single person, including the one who was born yesterday, has to pay those foreign debt in 150,000 shillings per single person. So when we talk about this thing being taxing to the common man, it is indeed true, because we will not accept as citizens of the Republic of Kenya to still be added on some burdens of taxes. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that if we say we want to have several members of parliament, the 360 elected, then we have the nominated from the special group, the disabilities, who are 4, and then 2 who are representing the youth. If all of them are elected, who can be women, all of them will be women. Let's take an example. We will need a nomination of close to 120 to achieve on the gender issue. And this is taxing, Honorable Speaker. And that's why this report, the one I just talked about the issue of taxes. Number 2, Honorable Speaker, the process of this popular initiative has to undergo even to the referendum. We've been quantified the cost of referendum, but it would cost close to 14 billion shillings. Okay. This money, Honorable Speaker, has to be covered by the common man through the tax. And this is why, Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the tax, let's see all these avenues. Honorable Speaker, I didn't want to dwell so much on those issues to do with the taxes. Honorable Speaker, I have also heard about the delay of this report. Honorable Speaker, this report reached this Honorable House to the County Assembly and you received it on 27th January. So it has still another 51 days to elapse the 3 months. And I want to congratulate the first finders of this constitution, whereby they only gave the County Assemblies 3 months. 3 months we still have for 51 days with this document. But the other assemblies rushed and made their determination. Honorable Speaker, on this document of abstaining, there are a lot of irregularities first in BBI. And I want to take you to the transitional and consequential provisions. If you have that document, read on the delimitation of number of constituencies. It says, within the 6 months from the commencement date of this act, the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission shall, subject to subsection 2, determine the boundaries of the additional 70 constituencies created in Article 89. 1. Using the criteria provided for in Article 81D and 87 subsection 7. If you look at this constitution,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm sticking to what you ruled.
Yeah.
That he has very good reports with him, but the time does not allow.
Yeah.
His 3 minutes is over. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The problem I might seem to be mutating, but I find Honorable Tena is also the Deputy Chief Whip. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Abstinence, Mr. Speaker. We are missing.
Are you on a point of order? You are on a point
Yes,
of order.
we should bring the BBI right now and start discussing, Mr.
What is
Speaker.
out of order?
Yes.
Okay. Proceed, Honorable Tena, and conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was just balancing the question that there are many pros on the report by the committee, and I wanted to negate that there are a lot of pros on this document. I want to balance the two so that it will create an opportunity whereby we need to abstain. There are good things, there are bad things on the same document. Honorable Speaker, the last one is on the party leadership. If you look at what is happening in the county assemblies, and that is why I'm writing one, Honorable Speaker, and that is why, if you look at what is happening in county assemblies, if you look at the circular from the SRC, it does not recognize the leadership in the honorable assemblies, even in terms of remuneration. But in the National Assembly, it recognizes. If you look at what they have actually provided in the Constitution, it has actually created leadership in the houses, but it has not created the same leadership in the county assemblies. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, this document is fake. My people say no, but I want to support the committee reports that we have stated. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. So that we can have equity for leadership. Leadership we mean from the majority leader, the deputy speaker, the minority leader, and their deputies. So that you don't take a lot of time, I'll give you 8 minutes. For ordinary members, we still stick to 3 minutes. Proceed. Proceed, Honorable. Let us also respect the responsibilities that we have accorded to the leadership. Okay. Honorable Ramadan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I've heard my colleagues, and the pros and the cons have been said. Mr. Speaker, I first of all take this opportunity to thank the committee. You did a good job. Mr. Speaker, even the recommendations are good. Apart from, I will start with this page 14. Mr. Speaker, on page 14, up there on the decision of the committee, it's actually requesting or telling this House to abstain. That's how they had thought. Mr. Speaker, this is like putting on the whole House the issue about abstaining. You have just said here now that we have 3 options during a voting or making a decision on something that we don't agree at once. But if we say they are requesting us, all of us, to abstain, that will be bundling us. It will be bad, Mr. Speaker. It will be denying us our democratic right. And that's one point I'm saying. I am not going to support this report because it's like a dictatorship. That's one. 2, Mr. Speaker, if we come to page 13, it is saying that down there, all the above mentioned proposals are good in principle, but negate the basic foundation of political stability. Actually, how does this document of BBI or amendment of the bill negate the political stability? I've not seen anywhere on all of these points that is going to negate that. And also they're saying Uasin Gishu is a cosmopolitan. In the same page, Mr. Speaker. Nairobi is the biggest cosmopolitan in Kenya. They voted. Mombasa is the following. They voted. They gave each member an opportunity to vote. You go to Nakuru, they voted. What's so significant with Eldoret being cosmopolitan and being a reason of abstaining our decisions in this House? We are here to represent people. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we went for parliament participation, to get the views. if we were knowing that it's a cosmopolitan, we cannot vote, we could not have wasted that time and resources going for public participation. In addition to that, going for report writing. Sure, we could not have come with such a decision of saying abstaining. And the committee could have given members their democratic right to say, those ones who want to say no, you can say. Those ones who want to say yes can say. Those who want to abstain, you can go to the toilet there and then come back after we have voted. Then that's okay. Mr. Speaker, I don't agree with the issue of abstaining. Another issue is on page 11. Increase in taxes. As they have said, down there, however, it is saying increase in taxes even without this issue of increasing taxes. The other day, fuel was increased with 10 shillings. Is the BBI there? The government will change its taxes and how it's taxing its people anytime, with or without the amendment of the bill. So the issue of taxes is there.
Honorable Chog.
I had Honorable, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had Honorable on the floor saying that it is like this document dictates. And I wanted to say that in voting, you have got 3 options. Even in this document, you can decide to vote yes, you can decide to vote no, and again, you can decide on this document again to abstain. You can even decide to go to the toilet and do whatever you want to do, and then you come back. So you can choose to abstain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
With that clarification, Minority Leader, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, if you get the summary, their thinking on the whole issue of the BBI has been written there is to abstain. Mr. Speaker, a colleague, Honorable Tenai, has actually told us, since he started talking of irregularities of this thing, we have not refused. You are Mheshimiwa. Why should you abstain? To you, the report is bad, totally bad. If you abstain, it's like saying, I agree with the way it is for it to go on. So you need to say no. And you should not be locked out. You should not be locked out in the issue of saying you are going to abstain. You could just say this document is bad, so I don't agree with it. Period. So the issue that we are trying to give ourselves, I want to stick very much to the report. The report, the way it has been put, it is good. The summary of the report is not good. And Mr. Speaker, at your discretion, because you are given the discretion on this, somebody like me, I am totally supporting the BBI. Because what has been said here by the people who are saying the document is bad, we are translating, domestically, as you, a member with your, but this document, experts went through. The minister in charge of finance said it is possible for we to make that increment of 35%. There is sometimes during election back there, people were going around telling people they are going to fight for 40% to come back to come down to the counties. But now this document is saying 35%, which will be now in black and white. And it will be a direct thing, not to go and request as we are doing now. And most members here have been having problems with our own funds in the county. A lot of developments have not been completed, have not been done. Now, if this additional will be there tomorrow, other members will be here representing people. Let us not subject them to what we have been actually undergoing. Let when they come, they get an improved way of delivering services to the people who elected them. So this document, Mr. Speaker, to me, I see wasting that time, going for public participation, going for report writing, just for coming here to say we abstain And the reason is because it's a cosmopolitan. Unless we want to create that problem, I've never had that problem within Uasin Gishu. Because the issue of violation and what on anything, that one is a past tense. It's no longer there. We are living in cohesion, in harmony. And even now, the governor is calling all these sub-tribes in Uasin Gishu. They are meeting because of cohesion. So it should not be because of this document. The reason given is not substantive. Mr. Chairman, with the due respect, I would say I don't agree with this report. Mr. Speaker, allow us at your discretion to every member say who is saying no, who is saying abstain, who is saying yes, period. And then from there we finish this thing at the shortest time possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I oppose this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ramadan. Maybe what I need to clarify is that what is before the floor of the House is the report from the Committee of Delegated Legislation. And the Speaker has no powers to change or to direct otherwise. I think that's a bit clear. Okay, Honorable Misoi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to put my input on this report. Mr. Speaker, I want to say I refuse the report of abstain. Because, Speaker, we want this House to give us an opportunity so that we vote either yes or no on this BBI document. Mr. Speaker, I want to say we went public participation. And what our people told us is that you either go vote yes or no. And that is why we need that document. We debate in this House. Those who say yes and those who say no have their say and the other one have their way. Mr. Speaker, I want to say I am a nominated member who was nominated by Jubilee government. Mr. Speaker, we have the party position, and as a nominated members, we wanted that document to discuss so that we say what the party told us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Maybe before I give to Honorable Alice, I'll go to Honorable Alice, then I will move on this other side. Every member
who are in government were shaken. Some of them were chased away. And from the initial concept, you were told this BBI was coming to unite all people. That is what the word we got, that it was coming to unite the people. We know, all of us here, apart from Honorable Ramadan, are Jubilee members. We struggled very hard to put this government in power. We worked very hard to make sure that we are together in this assembly as leaders. Therefore, when this BBI came, we saw some provisions that were not going well to us. For example, the issue of
Mr. Speaker, I find the member on the floor out of order, because if you can say all the 46 members in this House are the only ones who made this government, I also did. And that's why even now, when I was out and the BBI is there because I also did. So to illustrate that some members here did not or are not for the government, that's wrong. It's not among what you're supposed to discuss. So me, I feel it's not good when he says apart from Honorable Ramadan, that's wrong.
If I had the member right, he said all the members apart from Honorable Ramadan are in Jubilee. So unless also, I don't know whether there has been some okay, proceed.
I think, Honorable Speaker, listening is key. My learned friend here ought to be listening when one is contributing. So I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that when we had this public participation, my people of Soy Ward rejected in total. Because there is an issue of ombudsman that was linked to the Constitution. We have constitutional offices that we have to protect by all means. The other day we did elections which were annulled by the Supreme Court. We had to go for the second election. If it were not for the principles of good governance, of good leadership, of good judiciary that we have, that should not have happened, Mr. Speaker. And right now, we now have the issue of ombudsman, which have been sneaked in through this BBI to curtail the work of the judiciary, independence of our judiciary. Honorable Speaker, as leaders, we all have to work to see that we have.
So at the end of the day, maybe what I just wanted to make to avoid a lot of stories is that the vote that counts is the vote that is cast on the floor of this house, not anywhere else. Okay? Proceed. Honorable Yego.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. You've given me to give my contribution on the report by our ABO committee of members to equalize the gender, that gender, whereby the document clearly indicates that the nomination will be based on the total votes, not the total seats that was carried by that political party. Now, it's population. Honorable Speaker, we have the expanded representation. The increment of members of the National Assembly being increased from 290 to 360, assuming that all are women, or assuming that all are men, there will be additional of more than 130, summing up to around 550 total. Honorable Speaker, there is also addition of another, the expansion of the executive, the office of the opposition leader, accompanied by the staff, the office of the Prime Minister, the deputy, all those. That one will lead to over taxation. And Honorable Speaker, I want to summarize by saying that the people of the Kenya Assembly said no to the document, the PBI report, and gave me, the people of the Kenya Assembly said no to the document, the PBI report.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the honorable member to mislead this house that we are getting 300 million? Where are we getting 300 million? If it is about the addition of constituencies, Mr. Speaker, why don't we add the money to the existing constituencies? Why don't we share 300 to the 6 constituencies? Why should you say that we have additional 300 million? Why shouldn't we share with the 6 existing constituencies? Honorable member, the member is misleading this out.
Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Listening is key. Mr. Speaker, when you talk about 3 constituencies, those are 3 MPs, CDF will also will get 300 million from the CDF. Additional from the 600.
Honorable Catherine, I wanted you to proceed because you have made that point. Can you just proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For getting me, Mr. Speaker. The other thing also, members of the council and the MCAs will have an opportunity to become the CEC. So that is according to this report. The other one also, Mr. Speaker, is about the increase in equitable share to 35%. That is a boost to this county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the other one is also about the establishment of Ward Development Fund. This is also good for our county. Mr. Speaker, the issue of abstaining will not help us. We should vote either to support BDI or to reject, not to abstain, not the entire House. Mr. Speaker, I strongly oppose this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Honorable Korir.
Mr. Speaker, I also stand in to support the report brought in here before the House by the Chair, Delegated and the Legislative. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in this discussion that we have discussed here, we are discussing a report that was written by a committee that have said. And I can see as if, Mr. Speaker, we have another report to discuss about. This report that was brought in by the committee, it is sorry. Kindly order, Mr. Speaker, huh? This report has been brought and it is about the PPI. Mr. Speaker,
Proceed, Honorable Korir.
Me, Honorable Korir, I want to say that I support this report. And kindly, as we go for the public participation, even my people in Zero Ward told me that we are rejecting this report, we cannot. So as I stand here, whether or not the report of the committee is to abstain, that is to say that I will also abstain this report. I will also abstain this report because there is no need, because there is not anything else at all. As an assembly of Uasin Gishu County, for example, we already have the 40%, 46%, and we are now enjoying in our hearts. So why vote for an issue which is we are not even sure of getting? So me, I don't want to discuss this report that we are discussing here. Even the other issues of the national government and whatever, I have no business here. Let us tackle our problem here as an assembly, supporting the report of the committee as usual. And our standing orders allow us to discuss on that. So, I kindly, Mr. Speaker, say that whether we abstain, we shall abstain and you give us the direction to go and finish the issue, so that we don't go around. So I start to say that I also support the abstaining of the vote.
Honorable Nancy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to start, Mr. Speaker, I am going to be very clear and precise. I am a member of this committee, delegated legislation, and I'm not going to discuss about PBI because that is not on the table right now. What is on the table is the report from this committee, my committee, Mr. Speaker. My chair, Mr. Speaker, took a vote of veto to say that, to urge this House to abstain from voting, Mr. Speaker. I am one of those members who had a dissenting view, Mr. Speaker, of saying that the House should dispense the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, Mr. Speaker. And the reason is this, Mr. Speaker. The report, Mr. Speaker, is helping us run away from the following issues, Mr. Speaker. We have waited less than 51 days to 3 months, Mr. Speaker, trying to find the best possible solution. And the result is abstain. Mr. Speaker, we have started a process. This report is telling us, Mr. Speaker, not to value processes, not to value resources, by telling us abstain. Mr. Speaker, the report is telling us to abstain, Mr. Speaker, And yet, Mr. Speaker, we have people whom we represent, Mr. Speaker. Their views, their opinions were made or channeled during the public, Mr. Speaker. And the report is telling us abstain. There was a decision that the public made, Mr. Speaker, and the report is telling us abstain. Mr. Speaker, the report is telling us to abstain on discussing what we took to the people. Mr. Speaker, I think we are running away from the truth. We are hiding in a sheepskin, Mr. Speaker, by not facing what is actually on the table. We are running away because we are attaching this constitutional amendment bill with the elections come 2022. Mr. Speaker, I will not want to say yes or no because I'm fearing.
What's out of order, Honorable Chong? And then we go to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I heard the member of the floor connecting what we're discussing and even the PPI to 2022. None of us in this house is connecting the matters that we're discussing with any election. So we need to be very careful when we are discussing these reports. So, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any other standing order? Not any other point of order? Okay, proceed.
Let me proceed, Mr. Speaker. I did say...
You need to withdraw the issue of attaching...
Mr. Speaker, I am not withdrawing because I did say they are attaching. I have said we are running away because we are trying to see 2022 versus what is on the table. And that is what is making us resolve abstain, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will stand by that. History will judge us, I know, but I'm not withdrawing that because, Mr. Speaker, that is what is making us not...
That is Honorable Nancy.
Okay, let me withdraw.
We are out of this. I think it is improper to impute improper motives on members unless you can substantiate.
Okay. For the sake of this conversation, Mr. Speaker, let me use another better approach. That, Mr. Speaker, there is a line there that says Uasin Gishu is cosmopolitan. Uasin Gishu has been known to be a hotspot. I remember I have gotten somebody who said that. All these, Mr. Speaker, these statements, what is it telling us? Or where is it heading to, Mr. Speaker? Let's just swallow the bitter pill and be the leaders that we are supposed to be. A yes vote is a vote. A no vote is a no vote. Mr. Speaker, we are voting for... I am saying I am not agreeing with this report, Mr. Speaker, from the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Most of the words that they've given their views to the National Assembly, a number of them didn't go to public participation. But I want to thank you for giving us the leadership that we go to public participation, and after that public participation, we've gotten the report that has come from the Committee on Delegated, and the Committee on Delegated has also brought a report to the House so that we can debate on that report and to either abstain, either vote yes, either vote no. So I think we are still on the right track that we have that ability. Where you want to vote as a member, you can vote a no, you can vote, you can abstain, and we can go to the next. Dispensation of a document. That if you want us to go for a vote for a BBI that says yes, that says no, we still have that room. So, but I would want to put the sentiments that came from my word that most of those people who voted me in, or those who voted that I today stand and being the MC of Nigeria, wanted to know if the 15% that we used to be getting, we were not getting on time. And we've been getting the 15% because of the loans that we've been borrowing from the other countries like the China. We have been overburdening our electorate. So they were asking that the 35% that you are talking of, where will the 35% come from? There are also the issue that when you talk of the 3 constituencies that will be added to the Uasin Gishu County. The 300 million that most of those who are against this report are saying that we'll be getting the 300 million. What is also wrong in giving or in dividing the 300 million to the existing 6 constituencies? So those were the questions that they were asking. They were also asking whether we will still get the 38%.
Out of order.
Three constituencies that will be added, it will be better. I can give a case scenario for INAPCO.
Maybe it's time to concentrate on what is out of order.
Yes, I don't know what they're trying to tell us to share. The money, the existing constituency, which will not happen.
Okay,
If
please.
today we can ask Honorable Some representing INAPCO ward, sometimes even some corner here, it does not reach. The same to the whole constituency. It's too big. It needs to be subdivided for equal representation. Yeah, but not to be free.
Thank you. I'm not misleading. Honorable Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. But I would also want to let Honorable Muya Muma, I respect that. I was not saying that getting the 3 constituencies that you are talking of. I was telling you that it's still possible. The resources that you are talking of, the 300 million, can be shared among the 6. But you want to tell us you want to create position and overburden the electorate by creating another 3 MPs. You see, that is how it's going to happen. If you create the 3 constituencies, you will employ another 3 MPs with their personal assistants, with the CDF, whatsoever. So, and Honorable Moya, I would want to tell you.
Order, Honorable Speaker. Let's have order. Let's give the member who is on the floor to accuse this.
Honorable Speaker, because I was arguing my case from Hungary. So that is what the Hungarians had said. If the people from Langas, I think Honorable Moya had said what the people from Langas had said. So I'm saying what the people of Hungary told me to go and request the House to abstain, to vote no, or to vote yes. So I was told to go and vote no. And if I would have been taken to that BBI, I would have voted no. But now, because I'm in the report.
Okay, what's point of order? That's why I say I seek your indulgence, reading the mood of the House, and given the chances are there will be a division, then you will have you will talk through the vote. That's what I was saying. If we are in agreement, but if we are not in agreement, we can proceed. Okay, thank you. Honorable Moretti.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First of all, I want to appreciate all the members that have spoken before me. And Mr. Speaker, I want to register my contribution to this report on Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. Mr. Speaker, I've been reading very keenly and following this report.
Okay, what's out of order, Honorable Moretti?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member has appreciated that there are pros and cons, right? And she has also said, Mr. Speaker, that there is only 1 or 2 cons. But the weight of the 1 supersedes the 10 pros. So let us talk about the number. Let us talk about the weight of the 1 that supersedes all the other pros. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed with that in mind, Honorable Moretti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that the reason why I was saying so is that the committee had all the time because they were taking the views of the 30 words. I wish they could have written exactly what the members were saying. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, from this report, it's like the 30 words were appreciating the BBI, what is going to be brought by it. And Mr. Speaker, if there are people in the world that have said no, and because we went for public participation, and I want to believe it was captured for those who said no, and for those who said yes, it was captured. So summing up the 30 words, to say, from the 30 words, how many people said yes to the BBI report? How many people say no? Then from there we say now, which one was waiting? But from this report, Mr. Speaker...
What's out of order, Honorable Pundot?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I think the member contributing is out of order because this House is House of Representatives. And the representative here gave me their opinions. Some gave ascending and descending views. We were with Honorable Goretti in the retreat where we went and read the report. Mr. Speaker, we are yet to get if this thing will go to the referendum. Then there were 90, there were Njiku, the Korir will now contribute theirs at the ground level. For now, it is the decision of these honorable members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Moya.
Mr. Speaker, I also find my able chair to be out of order. Trying is confirming that going to
The point of order, the out of order was directed to Honorable Goretti. So we cannot have a multiplication of out of orders. Honorable Tene.
For avoidance of doubt, Honorable Speaker, I want to take you to points of order, the standing orders in the guide. I want every member that will be removing a point of order to quote the section of the standing order for purposes of other debate.
Honorable Tenai, that is provided in our standing orders, but not to be seen to be curtailing members' contribution. We are relaxing on that until every member is conversant with the standing orders. Proceed, Honorable Goretti.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker,
and you have around 30 seconds to wind up.
I want to say, Mr. Speaker, I also went for public participation. And the people spoke. But from what the people say, I have not seen it here. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I really want to say I oppose the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You can tell us what your people say. What did they say? Okay. Even that we had agreed, even that we had agreed 1-1, and the leader of government business has not said anything, I give it to Honorable Lowe to summarize so that we can move to the next stage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to bring out the issues that we are discussing as a House. And Mr. Speaker, sir, before I give my comments on this, I'd like to thank the Committee on Delegated Legislation for coming up with a report that is kind of a report that is a real report on the meaning of handshake and BBI on uniting the country. This is the real one of uniting this county. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 1 of the Constitution, Part 3A, gives delegated power to a leader in the National Assembly and the County Assembly to represent the people they elected him to this position. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've just sat down and heard people saying, why are we not taking the people say? People say, but you as a leader, what are you saying? Politics is international. Politics is national. But finally, politics is local. What is Uasin Gishu saying? Wisdom must prevail. We can speak of the document, we can speak of the good things, we can have 35%, we can have 5%, we can have 300 million, but without peace, that is madness. Mr. Speaker, sir, the wisdom has spoken through the Committee of Delegated Legislation under Article 1, and the leaders are here to represent their people. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 256 of the Constitution of Kenya gave powers to County Assembly for legislative issues. We are here today on a legislative matter. Yes, we listened to our people. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I even fail to understand. We are saying, how did this come about us to say, well, we abstain? In the document that we have 6 members for the report. We have 6 members against the report. Then, that tells us. So why are we speaking this? And even the committee itself, by voting, have gone 6 against. So instead of saying no to giving power to the no and giving power to the yes, now the chairman, through the wisdom, saying, let me be between and have my people from both sides abstain. That is the answer. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is so unique that as this House debates the BBI today and the report, the country is celebrating a 3rd anniversary of the handshake. So we should be unique and bring this country together. That is why we are here to abstain from this report. We have a baby with 35% in a basin of dirty water. So do we throw away the baby plus the water, or we remove the water from the baby, or the baby from the water? Mr. Speaker, sir, all these issues are bringing us together to agreeing on a position. As I say, politics is local. In Uasin Gishu County, you find a ward, because I went through the reports from the wards. Most wards have almost 50-50 of a yes and a no. Handshake from the 9-point agenda, which is summarized from Article 10 of the Constitution, wanted to bring each and everyone to speak in one voice and let us have peace and inclusivity. It's not all about these financials. After I read those reports from those wards, yes, I'm an honorable member from Karuna Mibeki. You are an honorable member from Tarako Ward. Your people were divided on this report. You are a leader. If you take a side of those who said no, then you're dividing your own word. If you take a side on those who said yes, then you're dividing your own word. What are you supposed to do as a leader? Create the handshake. What is the handshake? Mr. Speaker, sir, this is Uasin Gishu. And I don't want to start bringing the issues that are good and they are bad in this BBI. Because there are a lot of good things are said. And there are also a lot of bad things in the same BBI. But as Uasin Gishu County, today let wisdom prevail. At the end of the day, the party secretary general and any other person will not come and help us when we are in a chaotic situation. It is us, the leaders, to provide that cool environment for each and everyone. Today in the morning, when all of us were coming to this house to debate this report, some of our constituents were calling us to support and others calling us to reject. Everybody had a reason. Everybody had a reason. But I want to say, the Solomonic wisdom of the chair of this committee has saved all of us. We will go home and tell those who say no, my friends, we know why we are here. Because at the same time, we will still unite our people and make them one. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are a lot of issues that could have been discussed. But as you've said, Mr. Speaker, sir, tomorrow, because already the train are saved by themselves, and I'm saying this in regard to Uasin Gishu, are saved by the sponsors of the BBI. The train has left the station. Today, I want to be free to take a lift of a train for no and take a lift for a train for yes, so that I can speak to my people on the unity part in this country. But today, if we are forced to decide on a no and a yes, will I go to Langas tomorrow and tell them to vote where? I need to be free because we are in a free world. So I support the decision of the committee. Though some of us, and I want to say this as the leader, most members here are shaking. They are trembling to vote no for this thing because they were told by their people. But kindly, my friends, let us just agree. The wisdom has prevailed. Let us abstain and let us go drink tea together, laugh together, and unite our people because that is the decision that God has sent us today. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I conclude, I'm not saying I'm good, but I'm just bringing these issues together so that we all can say things that unite us. Mr. Speaker, sir, all the other issues have been discussed by members in this House. Uasin Gishu County is a unique county on its own creation. When Professor Musingo came, we voted our own way and we never cared what anybody said. And today, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm asking these members. The members who went and wrote the report came up, and God started the handshake from there. Kindly let us listen to them and abstain. Let us not take a decision of a side that we want to take today. Why are we forcing ourselves to a no which is not there? Why are we forcing ourselves to a yes which is not there even in the report? Why? Yes, I know there are some reasons in between here, but let those reasons not come above the unity that we want in this county. Let it be taken. The legality of it will be discussed by other quarters. But for us, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask my colleague members. Members, let us kindly support the report by the committee, brought by the chair, because he's one of us, and we, as the members of this House, have confidence in any other committee that we form. And those committees, we give powers. Kindly let us not throw away the water plus the baby, because the chairman has given us a beautiful baby called abstain. Let us all vote for abstain. Thank you very much, and let God bless Uasin Gishu County.
Thank you, Leader of Government Business. I now give it to the chairman for delegated legislation as a right of reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think I'm a man at peace. And first and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the type of debate that these honorable members have taken today. At first, Mr. Speaker, I was seeing and reading faces of honorable members with different color. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy. Whatever the decision these honorable members will take will be for the good of this county of Uasin Gishu. Mr. Speaker, today, the day of our Lord, 9th March 2021, is exactly 3 years since His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga did the handshake. And Mr. Speaker, it's a replica today at the County Assembly of Uasin Gishu. That actually we've shown that handshake in this county. The decision that we're going to do will even extend to where the two principals are, to show exactly that Uasin Gishu as a county has handshake at hand. Mr. Speaker, so many things have been said about issues of BBI. I don't want to dwell about it. But one honorable member here, honorable from Soy, talked about the issue of ombudsman. What is so painful, Mr. Speaker, about these developments of constitutional amendment bills is like the county is being managed with crisis. When judiciary has problems, they bring in a ombudsman to counter-check what judiciary is doing. Mr. Speaker, what is failing in this country is actually the systems. And then when the systems are failing, we don't need new constitution. We ought to correct, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, finally, issues have been talked, and I'm happy. As we go outside Uasin Gishu, there were talks about boundary reviews, creation of more constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I had some rumors, and when I talked about the peace of this county is very paramount, I had some rumors, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether they're true or false, that the same of this boundaries review, creation of constituencies, are created to some specific people. Whether the rumors are not true, this one could fuel this country, or this county, to some other quarters which you don't like, Mr. Speaker. And this one should become very clear. When we say we have said, Mr. Speaker, we know what we are doing as leaders of this county. Mr. Speaker, I want to give democratic right to my fellow honorable nominated members of this assembly. I respect them, Mr. Speaker. I respect my leader of minority, Honorable Ramadan Ali, whom I think his party is pushing for this thing. Mr. Speaker, I respect Honorable Moya, whom I think he went to Sagana, and all of us did not go to Sagana. Mr. Speaker, everybody has a right of doing all these things. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that let all of us support this report, and God will bless this Uasin Gishu, and Uasin Gishu is greater than this document. God bless you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable members, March 2021 and tabled in the House today, 9th March 2021, with or without amendments. As many as those of similar opinion say